Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Friday, August 28th, 9:30 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Are you new to this show? Well, if you are, then you would know that building adventures is what we do on Friday. And last week we were looking at the 1E first edition AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide, Appendix A, which showed how to do random dungeon generation. And what we were doing with that was just getting started, really, because there's a lot there. Building adventures. So much fun. We looked at let's see. Here, let me bigify it. Appendix A. Oop. Well, we can make it a little. That'll work. There we go. All right. I don't know how much we did with this. I forget. That's crazy, huh? It was only a week ago. You would think I would remember stuff like that. But for some reason, that's long enough ago that I don't. So what I'm going to do is take a quick trip down memory lane, pop on over to my channel, and take a quick look and make sure that I'm not going to spend a lot of time got a note there from a buddy. All right, there's last week's. I did look right here. I did scroll down. You know what? I think we got as far as we started looking at the openers. And then we looked at the wandering monster tables. No, we didn't. We just looked, that's on a different day. So yeah, we checked this out. We read through this. We looked at the openers. We talked about what you could do with these, where they put doors, where you might add additional doors or entrances, what you might consider just a hallway and just build more hallway off of it. I'll say something else, though, about building adventures. Some of these openers, like this number one, for instance, are in some campaigns, in some games, somebody would use this. This would be the whole dungeon. You'd put a couple of crypts into some of the off-shooting hallways, and these doors, you might put a vault behind them or a treasure room behind each one. And this number one right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You throw 7 coffins in each of those off-shooting hallways and put a 10 by 10 chamber. And remember, first edition considered squares as a standard a 10-foot square. So these are all 10 foot here. Ink Dweller, how you doing? Maltworm, what's up? Stu Alexfire 22, what's going on? I don't think we got Maltworm in on this week's yet. So I do not. Alright. I'm going to add you to the list there. Make sure we get everybody in there. Yodestein won last week, for what it's worth. He'll be joining us at the excitement that is Gamehole Con virtual. Good times. Anyway, so if you took this number 1 and threw some coffins in and threw a couple of storerooms, 10 by 10 square treasure rooms, put locks on those doors, you've got plenty enough for a crypt right there without adding anything else to it. And in some campaigns, that would be considered a regular size, an average size adventure location. Especially in newer editions where things tend to be more like Strike Force, 2-hour, 3-hour in and out, Adventurers League, for instance, Pathfinder Society. A lot of those are meant to be finished in a single sitting with a handful of people who are potentially unfamiliar with one another, who bring their own characters, so you don't have to deal with that at the table. But if you play at a convention and you're playing in any kind of organized play, you want to be able to hit the ground running as often as possible. Work's been busy. Don't think, no, I have a show to catch in the mornings. Oh, okay. They do not know. They do not know. They are vicious and cruel people, making you work and such. Just, it's out of line. But better than the alternative, I suppose, huh? We've got number 2 again. Again, any of these 5. Obviously, number 4 needs something else, right? I mean, you could call each one of these doors a sort of a waist-high crypt door. And you open it up and it's just like a drawer at the morgue, right? This could be a mausoleum here. But start. You know, I just think it's so wonderful. These are obviously all hand-drawn, considering how much work they put into this entire book. It is quite amazing that they didn't take the time to have a professional draftsman put those together. But, you know, it's both part of the charm of the original books and also meant to be an example of what you're going to wind up with. If they had everything professionally drafted, people would balk at doing it themselves. They would feel, oh, I can't do anything that good. You look at this and you think, you know, maybe not right out of the gate, but with a little bit of care, I could probably do something on a par with this. So there you go. So we stopped there, and now we're looking at random dungeon generation, table 1, periodic check. It's a D20. So if we were to take, let's take the one with the 5 doors, just the one we just call the mausoleum. It's a big rectangular room with 5 doors. We'll go to the far door, and we'll roll a D20, and we'll see what we get. Well, I got a D20 in here. Oh, here's my 12-siders. I was looking for those yesterday. They've got these special 12-siders I got from Cosmo Joe. I don't know if you remember seeing these. They're pretty cool. Got a treasure one, traps one, weather, mood. Anyway. 18. Dead end. Whoops. Oh, that's gonna slow us down right out of the gate. Walls left, right, and ahead can be checked for secret doors. Table 5D footnote. Okay. So let's look at these results anyway. 1 to 2, continue straight, check again in 60 feet, this same table. A door on a 3, 4, or 5, that goes to table 2. We'll get down there in just a second. Side passage, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So a full 20% of the time, we're going to find a side passage using table 3. Check again in 30 feet, this table. 11, 12, or 13. Right? That's 15%, right? Passage turns, table 4. Check width on table 3. Check again in 30 feet, this table. 14, 15, 16. Again, 15% chamber. See table 5. Check 30 feet after leaving. This table. 17, 5% chance of stairs. 18, 5% chance of a dead end that we just rolled up randomly. Trick or trap, 5% chance. Anytime you roll those dice. And we come back to this table a lot. This is the main table. It's the base table for doing a random dungeon generation. 20, wandering monster. Check again immediately to see what lies ahead, so direction a monster's approach can be determined. And of course they mean on this table. Let's check out the doors. Again, it's a D20. Location of door, space beyond door is. And here we get some more unusual stuff, because we've got some 45-degree passages inside. So location of the door is left, right, straight ahead. 1 to 6. This is 30%, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, another 30. And that leaves 40% for dead ahead. The space beyond the door, parallel passage, extends 30 feet in both directions on the double asterisk down here in the footnote. And notice, by the way, doors, there is an asterisk. Check again immediately on table 1 unless door is straight ahead. If another door is not indicated, then ignore the result and check again 30 feet past the door. If a room or chamber is beyond a door, go to table 5. Good old table 5. There's a lot of stuff from here pushing us toward table 5 because it's rooms or chambers. We do get those 45-degree passages in here. 1 to 4 parallel or a 10 by 10 room, door is straight ahead. 5 to 8 passage straight ahead. 45 degrees ahead behind. 45 degrees ahead behind. The direction will be appropriate to existing circumstances, but use the direction before the slash in preference to the other. In other words, do the ahead or behind, depending on whether we're rolling a 9 or a 10, if possible, but if not, switch to the other. Always check width of passage, table 3A. All right, here we go. Table 3, side passages. Hobbsy, how's it going? Just in time for us to get into the side passages. Again, it's a D20. And there's a lot of them here. So 10% chance, 10% chance, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 15, then 10, 16, 17, 18, 19 is another 20% of a four-way intersection. Notice that down there. Passage X's. If present passage is horizontal or vertical, it forms a fifth passage into the X. That's interesting. Passage T's, passage Y's, passage X's. Okay. So you can pop an additional angled passage into a four-way. But we've got left 90, right 90, left 45, right 45. Those are ahead. Left 45, that's behind, 135 degrees, clarified because 90 and 45 is 135. Right 45 degrees behind. Left curve 45 degrees ahead. Left curve 45 degrees. Right curve 45 degrees ahead. So curved passages, those are kind of nifty. Those will throw off someone's map pretty well. They'll probably ask for a little help with that. I always love these running images of the fight page after page in this section. We'll have to take a quick look at those at some point. The table 3A, the passage width. Again, using a D20. So they're trying to stick with the D20 throughout. They don't want you being slowed down by having to switch dice all the time. The candy coal, by the way. My friends Keith and Floyd brought me some of this for Christmas. I don't know if you can see. It says candy coal on it. Yeah. Well, now it's a dice bag. So there you go, guys. What do you think of that? I'll throw these back in there. Nice. Right on. Passage width. 1 to 12. Well, that's a whole 60% chance of being a 10-foot wide. 20% chance of being 20-foot wide. 5% 30-foot wide. 5% 5-foot wide. So the more narrow passage is less likely than a passage wider than 10 feet. Because we've got 13, 14, 15, 16. We've got a 20% chance at a 20-foot wide, another 5. We've got 25% chance that it's going to be wider than 10 feet, but only 5% that it's going to be more narrow. So you've got to know that they didn't just throw these together. There was some testing of them. They were probably handed off to somebody to check. Driving and listening, nice. They probably had a number of people try these out and see what they came up with dungeon-wise. And certainly when they were written, Gary or whoever he had asked to do this, I'm not 100% sure that the appendices were all written directly by Gary. They may have been written by someone else with his influence, with his input, perhaps with very little oversight. But that's something that I'm going to have to ask around about, because we certainly have the people nearby who we can ask about this. In any event, 5% chance of a 5-foot wide. So that tells us that the idea of these dungeons is meant to be that these narrow passages, 5-foot wides, are fairly rare. They definitely force a single file situation. Don't forget that in original D&D, 3 abreast in a 10-foot was kind of the norm. So when you switched to first edition and you were starting to go with 2 side by side, Prometheus Bound, how you been? Been a little while. Good to see you. We got to get you on the list here for this week, since we don't know. There we go. Okay. Theater opened over the weekend. Dan, yeah. Been well, thanks. Crazy time. 2 new movies in the theaters today. Nice. What is opening today at the Imagine Theater over there on the way out of town to the northeast? The old Burlington Road. I don't even know the name of the road going out of town that way. Is that crazy? The New Mutants. Oh, yeah, that's right. Personal History of David Copperfield. That's pretty cool. Highway 120. All right. Yeah, of course it's 120. Yes. Thank you. Somehow that got lost in my brain attic. Palace. Whatever. Depends which version of Holmes you prefer, I suppose. The Copperfield movie is amazing. I'll bet that's pretty neat. Man, that guy had an amazing career as a magician. I mean, still does, obviously, right? He's still with us. Unless I'm very much mistaken. Does he have like a Vegas show or something now? Eighth novel by Charles Dickens, Illusionist. Do a quick look here. 1956, so he's got 6 years on me. That makes him age 63. He'll be 64 in the middle of September. Born in Jersey. Was married to Claudia Schiffer. Now Chloe Gosling. Just checking out his wiki page real quick here. I mean, he is a magic user after all, so it's somehow tied into adventure creation. So now there's something. If you went and saw this David Copperfield movie and they showed some really cool illusions, not the magician, based on the Dickens book, what the... It's a period comedy? Get out of town. Now, see, I would have gone to see a biopic. Not that I won't go see this anyway. The Personal History of David Copperfield. Okay. Novel by Charles Dickens. Personal. Starring. Oh, Dev Patel. Yeah, we like him a lot. Capaldi's in it. Hugh Laurie, Tilda Swinton, Ben Whishaw. That's quite a cast. That is quite a cast. Interesting. Armando Iannucci is the director on it. He's been around for a little while. He did The Death of Stalin, which is friggin' hilarious. Alan Partridge, British comedian character. In the Loop, Tube Tales. I don't really know those. A lot of television stuff, mostly in Britain. He worked with Alan Partridge for a couple of years. Explains why he picked up on that as a thing. Armando's Tale of Charles Dickens, 2012. So, kind of got involved with that for a while. Did some episodes of Veep and Avenue 5. So there's a Hugh Laurie connection. He's in the new movie and he worked with him in Avenue 5. Avenue 5 is an absolutely hilarious science fiction series with Hugh Laurie, Josh Gad, and a handful of others. Essentially, it's about an interplanetary cruise ship where something goes wrong. And now the thing is going to be off course. And, you know, how much do they have in the way of supplies? They have to start dealing with crazy stuff. It's worth seeing. Took my wife, and it's in her top 5 movies of all time. Okay, that's That's very high praise. But I'm a sucker for period pieces. Definitely all the old British literature novels, the ones that get remade every 10 years as some new actor or actress comes into his own, and it becomes a rite of passage for them. More so than even Shakespeare does, because it takes a certain talent to be able to do Shakespeare well, and they don't mess around with that stuff. But all of the Brontes, various Bronte stuffs, and definitely Dickens. What do we see at Great Expectations every 10 to 15 years with some new young actor is in the lead, and then all of the great character actors get to jump into the various parts. Pride and Prejudice, absolutely. Little Women gets redone too, right here. So Louisa May Alcott. I guess we have our own. Stable of literature for films that can get remade. Although one has to wonder, certain books might get the kibosh based on some of the content. Although we will see. Pride and Prejudice, absolutely. Emma, another classic, right? Of course, we remake some over here and change the name and put them in a modern setting. Right? What is the Alicia Silverstone vehicle? Her first. Anyway, passage widths 10, 20, 35. Special passage, see below. Obviously, that's see above on the same page, but up on the right. And here it is, special passage, table 3B, again, D20. 40-foot columns down the center, 40-foot double row of columns, 50-foot double row of columns, 50-foot columns 10 feet right and left support 10-foot wide upper galleries 20 feet above. So there's an interesting thing. Stairs up to gallery will be at end of passage, 1 to 15 or beginning. So you've got a second level. You've got such a wide, 15-foot wide thing that there's a sort of a center passage. You've got pillars along the sides, and then somewhere you've got a stairway that takes you up to this upper gallery that gets to overlook the below, right? 10-foot stream. Streams bisect the passage and will be bridged 75% of the time. And be an obstacle 25% of the time. Rivers, wider than a stream. Bridge, 10%, 50% of the time. There might be a boat laying about 25% of the time, or they're just an obstacle 25% of the time. And of course, 20-foot wide chasm. So 10-foot wide stream, 20-foot wide river, 40-foot wide river, 60-foot wide river, 20-foot wide chasm. Chasms are 150 to 200 feet deep. They will be bridged 50% of the time. Have a jumping place 5 to 10 foot wide 25% of the time. Or just be an obstacle 25% of the time. Table 4. Turns. Left 90 degrees. Left 45 degrees ahead. Left 45 degrees behind. And same on the right. Bing, bang, bong. There you go. Chambers and rooms. We're on table 5 now. I'll tell you what. There's a fair amount of this left. We've got chambers and rooms there. And then we continue going with unusual sizes of rooms and that sort of thing. We're going to leave this go for the next time because there's a lot to explore with that, and we're 30 minutes in. So let's say this. Thank you very much to everybody. Don't forget, keep working on those virtual Gamehole Con submissions if you're going to run some games there. On our schedule here tomorrow, GM reviews. I think we're going to look at that Penguin Book of Symbols. There's a lot there. Rules retrospective on Sunday. Weekly news and analysis on Monday. Cartography and world building on Tuesday. Wednesday is campaign discussion. GMing tips on Thursday. When the background the horn to building adventures on Friday. If you're a follower of the show, I want to thank you very much. If you've been checking out the show on Twitch, please do click the follow button and chime in on the stream chat, because then we can add you in on our list of followers who are definitely not robots. And we give away something every week to somebody from that list, so it's worth being on it. It's been a lot of virtual Gamehole Con badges as of late. I think we've got like 11 or 12 different people going. So we've got a bit of a posse, which is cool. If you're catching up with this on YouTube, please do subscribe. Give us a thumbs up and maybe make a little comment if you got some constructive criticism to share. It's appreciated. I want to thank everybody once again. And I want to say we will see you again 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. And every day, whenever you can make it, we'll be here in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye-bye.